Thank you very much, Zaim. Yang Berhormat Dato Sri Alexander Nanta Linggi, Minister of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs. We are so delighted, sir, that you are able to join us again at our Malaysian Economic and Strategic Outlook Forum. And we look forward to your special address to the forum today. You hold a very important portfolio. I think the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs plays a very key, very major role in shaping the domestic economy of the country, in promoting protection for consumers, in promoting competition, and in also developing the cooperatives movement. And I think you would have a key role in stabilizing prices in the country. And that has been a key concern of many people because of the price increases and the inflationary pressures that we have experienced over the last 1 year or so. And we do hope that in your special address, Minister, you will be able to touch on these issues and enlighten us on the strategies and the programs of the ministry in overcoming some of these challenges so that we can all build back better and have a more sustainable and more inclusive economy for all Malaysians. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome the Honorable Dato Sri Alexander Nanta Linggi, Minister of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs. Yang Berhormat, Dato.
Thank you, Yang Bahagia Tan Sri. Tan Sri Michael Yeo, the President of the KSI Strategic Institute for Asia Pacific, Excellencies, distinguished guests, speakers, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. Well, it is an honor to be re-invited back to address delegates of this year's Malaysian Economic and Strategic Outlook Forum. And I thank Bahagia Tan Sri Michael Yeo as well as the KSI Strategic Institute for Asia Pacific for giving me the opportunity once again to share the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs upcoming initiatives for this year and the efforts recently undertaken. After all, recognizing the importance of the ministry's roles and that of its agencies in the economic recovery is key to rebuilding a better nation. I understand that the sessions conducted this morning will focus on the country and the region's economic outlook, where experts gave their analysis and predictions of what is to come. While this is most helpful, much attention has been focused on foreign direct investment in international trade. However, the importance of domestic trade activities is equally pivotal in the economic recovery. I've also been told that my esteemed colleague, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato Haji Mahyudin Yassin, earlier today had shared the progress of economic recovery in the past few months as we move on from various phases of recovery and allowing people to participate again in commerce and life in general. Well, indeed, the past year has continued to see many challenges thrown at businesses, large and small, as none have expected the pandemic to have lasted this long. However, the government's efforts, including that of ours at KPD and NGP, has done much to cushion the impact on businesses to ensure the survival. Stimulus packages dispersed through various agencies and financial institutions have provided a lifeline and relief to businesses struggling to make ends meet during times when the economy was inert due to lockdowns. The Ministry of KPD and NGP even undertook its own active steps to accelerate the rates of COVID-19 vaccinations by undertaking our own vaccine programs in the form of retail industry vaccination program, what we call RIVAC, for the protection of workers in the retail sector and to accelerate the speed of vaccination. Now, this program has helped 56,000 workers in the retail sector. And the act of vaccination comes with the literal boost of life, which is crucial for the economy, as every death to COVID is an untimely loss of a productive member of the society. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the government's strategy in the last 2 years was focused on business survival. focus is on strengthening the fundamentals of businesses of all shapes and sizes, not only to overcome the pandemic, but with an eye on the future economy. As such, the ministry has taken steps to strengthen business fundamentals to allow Malaysian SMEs to compete in a modern technological age. Following the plans of the My Digital Blueprint that was launched in February 2021 to transform the Malaysia into a digital economy by 2030, and we have continued to assist businesses to embark on digitalization programs, leading to an increased adoption and the uptake of the e-commerce platforms, including the enabling of the e-wallet transactions through the ministry's own retail digitalization initiatives, what we call READY, launched in April 2021. While the pandemic has further accelerated this uptake, much more needs to be done to encourage business, small and large, to take on this transformative process, which will ultimately be beneficial for the balance sheets. And with the crisis shifting from the pandemic to endemic and the risk of life loss at lower levels, confidence is beginning to return to consumers who are venturing out once more. And I strongly believe the year 2020 will easily be a brighter year for all Malaysians as business activities start to pick up. As the effects of the pandemic subside and the people's lives gradually return to a state of normalcy, Malaysia must posture itself to move forward, not backward as to how businesses were operated pre-pandemic. In an interconnected world where a micro business can have markets internationally, we have to position ourselves to go beyond our domestic walls and exploit more lucrative opportunities abroad. We must not overlook the fact that our neighbors too have taken proactive steps to undergo digitalization process for their businesses. Now, competitions, therefore, is expected to be stiff, with the market promising to become more saturated with more and more global players in every sector. We truly cannot afford to remain stagnant and broaden our game in the digital space. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we must not forget why we pursue these plans and initiatives, which is to bring greater prosperity to all. Now, this is the basis of the Keluarga Malaysia, where the goal is for the common prosperity, to look out for one another as a family through the eradication of poverty. As consumers, we must also take deliberate steps to support local businesses. These micro and small businesses are what makes Malaysia what it is today. It is the small businesses that bring out a sense of community and a muhibah. It is in our pasar pagi, pasar malam, where we see a mix of Malaysians engaging in commerce, regardless of their race or religion. Hence, we must go the extra mile to support our local businesses. Now, in line with this, the government will continue to intensify high-impact campaigns such as the Buy Malaysian Products campaign or campaign Beli Barangan Malaysia, KBBM, and the Mega Sales Program or Program Jualan Malaysia, PJM, in the hope of seeing higher sales of Malaysian-made products. And at the same time, our local businesses must step up to provide the best products and services by offering better quality. To do this, the competitive spirits need to be cultivated, where each person, be it business owners or employees, have to do their best and go beyond, rather than just carry out the run-of-the-mill activities. With the competitive spirit, other values will manifest, including innovation, as people will think of new ways to set themselves apart to offer better products and services, ultimately providing better value to consumers. And as mentioned earlier, we must realize that we are no longer competing with others in the domestic market, especially in a time where even the most basic of household items or niche item can be bought seamless on the e-commerce platform. In short, we can no longer remain comfortable and operate business as usual in this interconnected global market. Instead, we need to find new value propositions for our customers if we hope to sustain their patronage. Malaysians must step up and become a more productive society. If such a business environment can be cultivated in our domestic industries, it will only be natural for international investors to take an interest to set up operations in our country. It truly begins from us, from ourselves. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this ministry is aware of the struggles by businesses and consumers with escalating prices, particularly cost of food products. Globally, the price hike happened to rampant demand for goods and services that met bottlenecks due to supply chain disruptions. With many of these price increases are caused by external factors beyond the government's control, we are nonetheless doing our best to contain the situation. We also acknowledge that households with low disposable income levels, where food expenditures are a large share of their budget, rising food prices result in diminishing purchasing power and may force difficult budgetary trade-offs. And to help food deficiency households must, or during periods of rising prices, the government is taking a holistic approach to tackle all related factors and impacts. In order to retain consumer purchasing power during periods of rising food prices. In fact, KPDNP has responded by launching the Keluarga Malaysia Maximum Price Scheme in line with the Prime Minister's vision of Keluarga Malaysia. This is done in the hope of stabilizing prices and lightening the burdens of the caused by the cost of living for the rakyat and avoid further hardship. The government has also undertaken the Keluarga Malaysia Sales Program, the PJKM, targeted at the B40 and the M40 residential areas that offers between 20% to 50% discounts to ease the people's financial burden. Now, this program has begun last December, has attracted some 628,175 visitors at 411 locations nationwide, with a recorded sales of 12.5 million ringgit as of to date. With a budget allocation of 100 million ringgit, this program will be carried out until March this year. I would also like to emphasize or re-emphasize that the Prime Minister's stern reminder to all players in the supply chain not to take advantage of this situation by unnecessarily increasing prices of goods. Those who do will face harsh action and fines. We all need to play our part to mitigate unnecessary inflation, which will be damaging to our economy during such times. Unsustainable levels of inflation could also cause trading activities to stall, which is why it must be managed closely. Now, to mitigate this issue, the government has allocated 33 million ringgit under the 2022 federal budget to revitalize the trade distribution sector. Helping high-impact initiatives such as this will help the domestic recover more quickly. The government is also encouraging businesses to be bold and push to realize their full potentials. Empowerment is key, which is why KPDNP is pursuing the micro and the affordable franchise development program to elevate deserving businesses with grants to enable them to develop their own franchise. This will help aspiring franchise industry players from the bottom 40 and the middle 40 groups develop more attractive franchise packages worth 100,000 ringgit and micro franchises packages worth 50,000 ringgit and below. And in doing so, increasing the number of entrepreneurs with excellent business prospects. There are many more initiatives that are in the pipeline and being planned, all in a strong effort by my ministry to strengthen and boost our domestic economy. After all, common prosperity for all is the very essence of the Keluarga Malaysia. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end my speech by urging all delegates of this virtual forum to help the economy to strive forward for being bold, making calculated risks, and by doing businesses once again with the larger business community. It is by engaging in commerce at a nationwide scale can we help each other to overcome our challenges and position ourselves at greater heights. And with that, I thank KSI once again for this initiative at the point, and as the points shared by speakers provided greater insights to the government and the business community at large, enabling us all to make wiser strategic decisions for the year ahead. Let us work together to bring this beloved country forward. Thank you very much.